Good evening. We're delighted to be welcoming Jimmy Fry across to be interviewed this evening for the benefit of Lambs Media. Good evening, Jimmy. And thank you for joining us. Now, some fans are aware, but some aren't, that you have an interesting middle name. We've got two middle names, haven't you? But you know which one I'm on about. So if you could explain or state your middle name and actually explain its origin for the benefit of the viewers.
Michael?
No,
so I've got two middle names, Michael Engelbretson. Engelbretson's, I've got Norwegian heritage within the family, so on my dad's side goes two or three generations, if I'm not mistaken. And so my granddad passed the name to my dad passed it on to me. Whether I'll keep it is another matter, but yeah, so it's a Norwegian background.
It's always a talking point though, isn't it? I bet lots of people have asked you about it over the years.
Yeah, it brings a few laughs. I'm not sure if many of the lads know about it. I'm not too sure, but yeah, it's just one of those things, isn't it? Yeah, it's part of my family on my dad's side, so yeah.
When you were younger, you had a choice to make because you were actually a talented cricketer. And it seems that you had a choice to make between playing cricket for a career or playing football, and you chose football, clearly. Was it the right choice?
Good question. No, I was, so as a schoolboy I was playing for Birmingham and also Warwickshire, so I had both going on at the same time, so most of my evenings my parents would take me to cricket and take me to football. I had a decision to make. Technically the decision was at 16, so whether to go full-time into my scholarship years at Birmingham or whether to continue down the cricket path. But I got offered the scholarship early, so probably from the age of 14 there was only one decision. As soon as I got offered a scholarship at Birmingham, it was yes straight away, no decision to be made. And then the cricket kind of dwindled away pretty quickly, to be perfectly honest, more in my own mind, because all I wanted to do was just obviously play football, which is in the end what I did.
Fair enough. You know, it's difficult for parents when they've got teenagers that are doing multiple sports, so I bet they were quite relieved when you actually just followed that path and it was quite straightforward from then on.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been into my sport, that's just me. I've never even considered doing anything else really, to be totally honest, and my parents kind of encouraged it, never really interested in music or anything, you know, those kinds of things, so my parents have always encouraged me to do whatever I want to do, which when I was younger was football and cricket, so yeah, and then my parents have, like I say, supported me through everything. Right from when I started strikes, probably the age of 6, on a Saturday morning, my parents have backed me, supported me, so I couldn't ask for any more from them in that regard. And then yeah, of course, probably made life a little bit easier because they weren't taking me to all around the country for 2 different sports, it was just for one in the end. So.
Do they still come and watch you play now?
Yeah, so my dad's, my parents, both of them, come as much as they can. My dad's followed me all across Europe. He's been, I think he came to Slovenia. He's been to Holland to watch me play, and he'll come to every game he can. He rarely misses a game. So you know that kind of support is means a lot to me.
Yeah, clearly does.
Yeah.
So you got your scholarship at Blues. And tell us how it all developed from there to the point where you've ended up at Tamworth this season.
Yeah, so I signed my scholarship at Birmingham. Initially I got offered it playing in central midfield. By the time I got to my scholarship years, I was a centre-back, right-back. Was offered, so I got a squad number in my second year. So I was in the first team squad. That was under Lee Clark, and then got offered a professional contract at the end of that season. That was when the club were struggling financially. I think it's been maybe a transfer embargo or something or other like that. So I signed my professional contract at 18, spent 2 seasons as a pro. During those 2 seasons, I probably were probably the toughest years at Birmingham. I was out for I think it was 7.5 months with my right ankle, ruptured multiple ligaments and all the rest of it, which I didn't really recover from, to be perfectly honest. And then once I kind of got back to a place where I was comfortable, I'd been on loan to Leamington, been on loan to Kidderminster. I then did the same to my left ankle, which needed operations and all that sort of stuff. And I was always someone who had to work. I still do now. I have to work 100% every single time that I play, train, etc. Because there are a lot more talented footballers, as in technically, than me, and it just set me back, and I could never keep on to some of the talented boys that were in my age group and in and around me, either above or below. That didn't work out. I ended up going to Leamington permanently. Once I recovered, I went to Leamington. They looked after me brilliantly. Couldn't ask for much more from the manager, the chairman, the club in general. Couldn't have asked for any more from them. I broke my jaw playing for them, which again set me back. I nearly stopped playing. I don't want to do it anymore, all that sort of stuff. And then fell on my feet at Stratford. Had 3 great seasons there. Was made captain fairly early on, and then went on to play, I think it was something like 150 games for them, and then obviously came in the summer.
Yeah, and how much of the move to Tamworth really came about because of the links with the head of senior football here at the Lamb, Thomas Bailey?
Yeah, obviously Thomas was a massive influence in getting me over. I was actually on holiday at the time when I found out he was coming over here. And it was a bit of a no-brainer really for me with what I wanted to do. We'd done really well at Stratford last season, had a great season, overachieved I would say, and I wanted more of it, and I felt that this was a place that could, obviously it'd be down to the personnel that are here this season, but I felt like it would be a place where we can be pushing at the top of the league, and hopefully it will continue.
Well, so far that's been proven right. What has been the highlight so far? I mean, you're still a young player, 24. Yeah. So you're a long time ahead of you in the game, actually, and hope you have a long, successful career. But what's been the highlight so far for you of your career? Was it the scholarship at Blues, or has it been a moment since then?
There's been a couple. The best, it's hard to say. When I got my squad number, that was a massive moment for me. I remember I actually found out on Twitter before one of the coaches phoned me, but that meant a lot to me. Because young players get these great deals, long contracts, that sort of stuff, but it's just words on a piece of paper.
Yeah,
sure. The squad number, you're actually in and around the first team. So that was a big moment for me. Penalty against Hereford, that was a good night. One that I will remember, especially being with the way that we sort of had to grind it out here and do the same away. Over 120 minutes, team in the league above, history of Hereford, all that sort of business. That was a good night. So I'd say those two are the main sort of high points so far.
As we film this interview now, we're 13 league games in, sitting top of the pile, a number of cup games as well, and you've mentioned the Hereford game in the FA Cup, so it's been a good season in terms of cup runs and league positions so far. How do you feel it's gone for you personally, not just the club, but your season so far?
Personally, a little bit of a slow start. Again, I like to be comfortable in my surroundings, and sometimes that takes a little bit of time. So a little bit of a slow start. which I think has actually benefited me, really kicked me into gear, and probably after, I'd say, the Peterborough game here, since then I think my form's been pretty good. It's enabled me to stay in the team. We've got a good squad. I know that there are competition for places, which is good. So, you know, we know as a group and as individuals that if we don't perform, you might have to take your place on the bench for a few weeks, which kind of drives me on because I'm not someone who is happy to sit on the bench. I understand it may have to happen, but I want to do, while I've got the shirt, I want to keep it. And I feel like, touch wood, long may it continue, I feel like my form's been good, as I say, after the first couple of games. My form's been good, and hopefully that will keep me in the team, it will keep the team moving forwards, keep winning, and we'll stay at the top of the pile.
Okay. Now I like to ask my victims this question. Do you have any pre-match rituals or superstitions that you do?
I don't have any pre-match routines or rituals as such. Home games I like to eat the same thing, so I always have some sort of egg on toast. I don't eat anything else. But the only sort of superstition for me is I've got you know, the shin pad socks that you put the shin pad on, you put the sock over the top. They are in terrible condition, and the lads are like, do they even keep the shin pads up? And I say no, but they've done me well for I think it's 3 or 4 years now, and I just can't bring myself to change them. And until they literally fall off my legs, I will continue to wear them.
It's surprising, you know, the answers that we get. It's not always the most obvious answers. And things like that, really interesting. So who in the squad then would eat the most cake? and conversely, actually, who really looks after themselves fanatically as well?
Surprisingly, Ahmed eats a lot.
That doesn't surprise me, actually.
Ahmed eats a lot. I saw a picture of Bez actually with a cake in his hand after the game on Saturday. I don't know where that came from. Somehow he sniffed that cake.
It was Brian Whitehouse's birthday cake.
Was it?
I think so, yeah.
We also had cake in the dressing room actually, funnily enough. That's where I thought he'd nipped in and got it and gone back out. But, Ahmed's the one that's always got Jaffa cakes and all that sort of stuff. He brings boxes into training and stuff. Whenever there's cake in the dressing room, he'll be having a few pieces.
But Ahmed's just a 100-mile-an-hour guy, isn't he? He's always on the go, so you can see how he consumes a lot, but he burns a lot as well. Just that energy.
Yeah.
He's a box of frogs.
Yeah. But again, he's one of those people that he's eating all this cake and there's nothing to him. If I ate that much, then I'd be...
Straight to your hips.
Yeah, straight to my hips.
Okay, in terms of the management, Jimmy, what are their strengths, do you feel?
I think the contrast between the management group is quite good. You've got Andy, who's 100 mile an hour. His detail is second to none that I've worked with, especially in non-league. So he's 100 mile an hour. Gives us all the information that we need going into games, training, all that sort of stuff. You've then got Smudge, who he's the big dad of the group, looks after you, arm around the shoulder, gives you a kick when you need it, which goes quite nicely. The two of them, I'd heard about it before I came, couldn't picture it in my mind, but now I know exactly what everybody's been talking about. And then you've sort of got Thomas, who's stays cool no matter what. I think I've seen him flustered twice probably. The rest of the time he just stays really cool. Whether we win and beat Hereford, in the FA Cup, or we lose at home to Hensford to a penalty. He's the same. He's exactly the same, which I think over the course of the season helps, because especially in football, it's a very emotional game. I try and stay level as much as I can, but even I lose it sometimes, and you go too low, you go too high, whereas he's flat throughout, which I think will help.
Really complementary, and between the three of them, you've got every attribute that you need
Yeah.
at a club.
Yeah.
Okay. Jimmy, thank you very much for your time this evening. Really appreciate it, and I'm sure Andrew will be hollering you to get running around that pitch.
Yeah.
So I'll let you go. Viewers, of course, if you are subscribed already to the Lambs Media YouTube channel, then please do so. Please share, please spread the word, and thank you very much for watching.